Yeah, this really caught people by surprise here in Brussels this morning because Thierry Breton has been one of the most powerful commissioners during Ursula von der Leyen's first term. But it wasn't just the fact of the announcement, it was also what he said in his resignation letter, where he attacked the president, accusing her of going behind his back and trying to get him fired by talking to French President Emmanuel Macron and saying that this was in line with her, quote, questionable governance over the entirety of her term. Now, it's no secret that these two politicians do not like each other. They often feuded both in public and in private. Most recently, last month, when Breton sent a letter to Elon Musk, the X-owner, just ahead of his interview with Donald Trump, warning that X had to abide by EU law in terms of misinformation, von der Leyen, through her spokesperson, really threw Breton under the bus for that, saying that he hadn't consulted with the Commission and was basically just speaking for himself. The big question here is, did he jump or was he pushed? Did President Macron make him resign, or did he, as he seems to be suggesting in his letter, resign of his own volition and his own principle once he found out that von der Leyen was trying to get him out? Now, the reporting from Paris today has suggested that the Élysée was just as surprised by this as the Berlaymont EU headquarters here behind me this morning. However, the speed with which they came up with a new nominee kind of begs the question whether they were really caught by surprise, because they came up with a new nominee just within hours, and that person is Stéphane Séjourné, who is the outgoing foreign minister, and he's pretty much an unknown name in France.
Yeah, even though he's the foreign minister, he's been labeled as somebody who doesn't have a huge amount of charisma. Dave Keating, we had reactions which included that of the former Twitter, X, saying that Breton out is a, quote, a great day for free speech.
Yeah, I was wondering when people like Elon Musk were going to start to weigh in on this, because Breton had made himself quite an enemy of Musk for sure. He had also rubbed a lot of feathers in the building behind me the wrong way, I should say. He was not a popular guy, but he was a powerful guy. And really, if we're frank about it, one of the big complaints about Ursula von der Leyen is that she has run a very top-down commission and kind of ousted or put outside of the room the 26 commissioners in her college. But Breton was one of the commissioners that didn't let himself get pushed out of the room. He and I'd say 2 or 3 others were really the only names that were important in this last commission. So for von der Leyen, this is probably pretty good news. I think the question, though, is this replacement in Stéphane Séjourné, does he have the heft to occupy that same place where Breton has been during the first term? There was a kind of expectation, I think not least from Thierry Breton himself, that he was going to be made executive vice president, the right-hand man of the president, because he had been there already, because he had such gravitas, such heft. I think it was very clear that Ursula von der Leyen did not want to give him that position. But could she give that position to Stéphane Séjourné, given that he doesn't have all that much experience? He's only been foreign minister since January. I think other countries might balk at someone so inexperienced getting that executive vice president position.
And you've been reporting how there have been eyebrows raised because someone else who could get that executive vice president position is Italy's pick, Italy, which is run by the far right's Giorgia Meloni.
Yeah, this is an ongoing problem, I think, for the von der Leyen Commission formation. So, of course, if von der Leyen did not want that position to go to Thierry Breton, another option would have been Raffaelle Fitto. Now, he's the nominee put forward by Giorgia Meloni, the Prime Minister of Italy, and they are both from the far-right Brothers of Italy party. Now, when the rumors started going around that von der Leyen was preparing to basically snub Breton and give Fitto this position, the left and the Liberals and the Greens in the Parliament were furious, and they've said they could veto her entire commission in December, which could actually make her fall as the president and make the council have to pick a new president if she goes ahead with putting someone from a far-right party in that, basically the second most powerful position, at least on paper, in the commission, because it would be sending a signal of how von der Leyen intends to govern for the rest of her 5 years. Now, there is another option for that position. There's Teresa Ribera from Spain, Spain. She's a very well-known, very well-respected politician in Spain, but she's from the center-left. So the question that von der Leyen is going to have to answer here is, would she prefer someone who's also a centrist, but from the left, or would she prefer someone from the far right, who she may or may not have made a deal with ahead of the election? There's been a lot of speculation that she may have promised Meloni that the Italian commissioner would become the executive vice president if Meloni promised to support her in the vote for president. In the end, Meloni's far right didn't end up doing as well as people were expecting, so her support wasn't necessary. And in fact, Meloni didn't vote for von der Leyen to be reappointed in the council, nor did the brothers of Italy, members of the European Parliament, vote for her. So big questions whether this announcement is going to come. I'm not sure, actually. I think they may have to delay it further now. But if it comes, who is going to be in that executive vice president role? I should mention it's also an option. They could just get rid of the position. It was only created 2 terms ago by Jean-Claude Juncker. It's kind of a symbolic thing, and she could easily just say, you know what, if everybody's fighting over this position, I'm just going to get rid of it.
It could, just very briefly, could go either way for Ursula von der Leyen at this point, Dave Keating, because she's sometimes been branded as weak over the past 5 years. But here, you're reporting her 2 biggest foes from her first term, the council president, Charles Michel, he's gone, and now Thierry Breton.
It's true. I mean, this looks pretty good for von der Leyen. She's gotten rid of a lot of her political enemies here. I should note the previous executive vice president, Franz Timmermans, was also someone who did not get along with Ursula von der Leyen. So if you're noticing a trend there, you're not wrong. So I wonder who, even if she gets rid of the people that she's had problems with in the Commission, I have a feeling there will be new problems arising.
Dave Keating, and we'll see whether or not that announcement does indeed come on Tuesday. Thanks for that update from Brussels.